Hello, everybody. Tyler James here, and I just want to jump on and celebrate a cool milestone for the comic creator community on Kickstarter. I don't know if you noticed this. You probably haven't because you don't pay attention. You're not a nerd like me paying attention to this stuff. But ever since I started the Comics Launch podcast more than 5 years ago, one of the things that really animated me and the reason that I started the show was because at the time, more than half of all comic projects that were launched on Kickstarter failed to fund. And the difference between projects that succeeded and projects that failed, more times than not, I felt had very little to do with the quality of the book itself. It was more on the quality and the strategy and the approach of the launch. And so when I launched Comics Launch, I said, you know what, I can do something about that. I can help contribute to that. There's a lot of creators in our community that have helped contribute to that. But the cool thing that has happened in the 5 years since is that the success rate for comics on Kickstarter has continued to grow and grow and grow. And I was just over on Kickstarter checking the stats page the other day, and two cool milestones were just hit over here. The first milestone is that for the first time ever, the comics category on Kickstarter, the overall all-time success rate has topped 60%. So 6 out of 10 projects statistically since Kickstarter has started in the comics category that have launched have actually been successful, which is awesome. And the second cool milestone is that comics, ever since I've been doing this, had the third highest success rate. Dance and theater were ahead of comics, but with the awesome work by so many creators over the past several years, unlike every other category on the Kickstarter platform, comics has continued to go up and up and up and up in terms of the success rate, to the point where now we've just edged ahead of theater, and dance is now less than a point and a half, or less than a point and a half away from taking over the dance as well. And so one of the things that has been animating the Comics Launch podcast, like I set a goal, hey, comics is going to be #1. And the cool thing is it's taken us a while to get there. But as of now, right now, I can say, and you can say, and we can all say, comics is #2 on Kickstarter. And so my question to you is, and you can go ahead and throw a comment in the chat if you're watching the replay, if you're watching this live, why? What's special about the comics community on Kickstarter? Why has this overall Kickstarter success rate 38%? So only 38 out of every 100 projects that launch on the Kickstarter platform are successful, but 60 out of 100 statistically are successful in the comics category. Why is that? Now, you may have some theories. I know I certainly have mine, but I think a lot of it has to do with the community. Most of these other categories on Kickstarter, there is no community. There is no serious like community for projects on in other categories like there is in the comics category. And I think in a lot of ways, the members of our community have given back to each other, sharing best practices, sharing strategies, supporting each other's projects, cross promotion. Comics also is the category on Kickstarter that has the most repeat backers, or the most repeat creators. And so the more you do anything, the better you get at it. And the fact that we have more creators that will launch and succeed and then try again, that definitely makes a big impact, right? There are probably more veterans on Kickstarter in the comics category than any other category, which is pretty darn cool. And another thing that I know comic creators, especially indie comic creators, like, we come from a sort of DIY, get her done, do it, deliver on your promises. Like the indie comics, well before Kickstarter, like, we were hustlers. We would make things happen. We would find ways to bring projects to life, come hell or high water. And one of the things that goes into Kickstarter success is the fact that that if you can make your project look like it's inevitable, like it's going to happen no matter what, you are determined to make it happen no matter what, that actually encourages backers to get on board because they want to be a part of that. And so there are a lot of reasons why the success rate for comic projects on Kickstarter is where it is. But I just want to celebrate this awesome milestone because it's something that I've been tracking. And if we keep on this trajectory, I'll be back sometime next year saying comics is no longer number 2, it'll be number 1. And so for all of you that are comic book creators launching in that category that have contributed to that success rate, high five to you. And I can't wait to see what you all are launching next. I will just remind you, if you want to get involved in the comics category on Kickstarter, if you want to launch a comic book on Kickstarter, but you're not quite sure where to start, there is a free guide that I have for you. It's a free roadmap that lays out the steps for what this journey looks like to bring a project, to plan it, to launch it, to fund it, to fulfill it, and then set yourself up for success the next time around. You can get that at comicslaunch.com/roadmap. All right. I want to hear your reasons about what's special about the comics Kickstarter community. What are your ideas? Why were we able to get to number 2? And what's going to push us to the top to number 1? All right. Thanks so much for watching. Take care.